Abigail Van Buren, and it says, the best index to a person's character is how he treats people who cannot do him any good and how he treats people who cannot fight back. I'm talking to you guys today about fairness on a policy that needs to change. Everyone deserves and has the right to a fair education. Fairness can apply to how work is graded, how discipline is handed out, but also can apply to which classes students want to take and when they get to sign up. Electives give a student the opportunity to learn about something they may be passionate about. These electives include arts, wood, design, music, and much more. My students are currently dual enrollment, which means they're non-traditional students. I homeschool my children for the majority of their credits, but once they reach their secondary education, they're allowed to take a few electives with the public school system. However, since my kids have chosen to be homeschooled, they are not allowed to sign up for their classes with their grade level. They are told, well, that's just what we do. And they have to sign up the day before school starts or the day of, which leaves them groveling at their teachers' feet, begging them to let them into full classes. And I witnessed that the last 2 years with my daughter, given a little sticky note from Mrs. Doak, go get his signature so you can come into the class that's overfilled. That's not right. You guys, I do not believe this is fair for many reasons. It's discrimination against a certain class of students. You would not take any other students and say, sorry, you have to wait because of this. You have to wait because of this registration. We've always done in the school district, you go, the freshmen are the last to register, the one incoming seniors register first. But you're making this small select amount of students wait till the very end. But yet you're the first ones to be happy to have them on your sports teams to bring recognition to the district. Many of the homeschool students that have had to grovel at the teacher's feet, and there's some teachers in this class, in this audience right now, that have had to sign those sticky notes the day before school starts. But yet you'll recognize them for sports. I'm asking for you to give these students fair treatment and let them register now before the day before school starts. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any other people like to speak to the board? There being none, we'll move on. Next item is recognition of Skills USA State winners, Mr. Cassidy, Mr. Locker, Ms. Godfredson, and Josh Lewis, along with Marissa, the clerk. Welcome. Welcome, Tim.
Hey, thank you. Good evening. I'd like to introduce, in a few minutes, you're going to see the students that went to the Skills USA competition 2 weeks ago in Casper, where we competed in all our areas. We brought home 8 medals this year, which is the most we've ever done, which was outstanding, and every group that went medaled, which was excellent. In cabinet making, I'd like to introduce you to Talon Terrell. Talon placed 3rd in the state in cabinet making. He gives what they do is they give them an opportunity to build a cabinet in a certain amount of time, and they only get a certain amount of materials. If they mess up, they're done. So Talon competed in that. It's an 8-hour event, did an outstanding job, built a beautiful cabinet, and placed 3rd. Very good against good competition. Very proud of him. He's an excellent builder. He builds beautiful stuff. If you got to go see our industrial arts fair, he had a beautiful bookcase in there. He's a builder. He's an engineer at mind, and I hope he keeps doing that. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to compete in Skills. It's a great organization, and it prepares kids for the future in the trades, and it's an excellent way to get them started. And I appreciate you giving us that opportunity to have them classes because they're important to these kids. Thank you, Talon Terrell.
All right, Talon, good job. Welcome.
Lydia. I'd like to introduce you to Lydia Westonsko and Olivia Sheets. Olivia had a death in the family, so she couldn't come. But these two were brave enough to enter into a job skill demonstration contest. It's the first time we've ever done that. During the job skill demo, they demonstrate a wide array of skills of their choosing. Has to be 5 to 7 minutes long. They instruct a panel of judges on how to perform the task that they choose. There are about 40 contestants that entered. That could be anybody. Nurse assistants, welders, woodworkers, culinary, anybody could sign up for that. Lydia, who changed her demo about 20 hours before she did it, was able to take 3rd place in the job skill demo. So she's been a helping hand in the training room for the last 2 years. She's really come into her own. She's gained a lot of confidence in her abilities and is always ready to learn more. She demonstrated to the panel how to tape a thumb prophylactically for the competition. So good job to Lydia. Sheets also was our inaugural nurse assistant competitor. She's an exceptional student. She came to us from Mrs. Cordova's CNA class. Michelle had this to say: Olivia excelled in the nurse assisting course. I am so proud that she placed in State Skills USA competition. This is the first year that GRHS has sent a student to the nurse assistant skills, and Olivia represented us well. So congratulations to Olivia Sheets. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Aaron Locker. I'm the automotive instructor at Green River High School. This is the first year at Skills that we've been able to place first, second, and third in automotive refinishing. And Dylan Stein actually is here for FFA. And I maybe should have done a better job at communicating that all of my students who placed should be here. That's probably my fault, most definitely is. But he's out there with the crowd with FFA. But students were given a panel. It was pre-finished, so think of it like a fender on your car or a quarter panel or a trunk lid. And a repair was done on that prior to the students arriving. It was in primer, and the students needed to prep that primer, get a blend going so that you couldn't tell that there was any primer or any repairs done on that panel, and then spray the paint in the exact same way that that paint was previously applied on that panel into a undetectable blend. So the entire panel was not painted, just a portion of the panel was painted, very similar to, let's say, how Jaeger's Auto Body or Brady's would repair a section on a car that was damaged without replacing an entire panel. So I'm very blessed to have, I think, some of the nicest projects in the industrial arts fair. I really thank everybody here on the board for providing us the support to have an auto body program. I believe we are the only one at a high school in the state of Wyoming to have a collision refinishing program. So I really thank you all for your support and the money that it takes to make that possible. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Aaron.
Hello, I'm Rosie Goppertson and I teach welding at Green River High School. This year, I brought several students to compete at Skills USA. I brought for the first year. Last year, we didn't do a fabrication team, but that was a team of 3 students that had 5 hours to build a project by a blueprint and following a welding procedure provided by the competition. They built a rocket stove. They did an excellent job. They didn't place top 3, but I'm excited to see where they place when the rest of the results are released to us. Carson West, he was my novice competitor. He is only a sophomore, which it's a beginning entry-level competition at the state level. And he placed second, which I'm really proud of him. He's great, and it makes me excited for the next 2 years I have with him. I also took kids for intermediate and advanced welding competitions. Again, didn't get top 3, but excited to see where they placed when the results come out. Carson was nervous to go. He really was. He was very hesitant. And day before, he's like, Miss G, I don't think I'm ready. And I said, Carson, if you weren't ready, I wouldn't have picked you. So when he came, it opened his eyes a lot with how good he is in the state competition. Here he is. He didn't make it after all. So this is Carson. We're extremely proud of him and excited to have him for the next 2 years.
Marissa, welcome.
Hello. This is Chandalyn Fry. Chandalyn was the very first culinary student that has gone to Skills with us. I have not gone in the years past, and I wish I would have, but being the first time we went, Chan took second, which is really cool. She competed against 12 other students. They had to plate 2 completely similar plates with a protein, a carb, a homemade bread, a vegetable, a sauce, and a soup or a salad. And she had 3 hours to do that. And the judges were very impressed with her. She worked really hard. We practiced. I think you had fun. Did you have fun? I had fun. She had fun. But the top person who goes to or who gets first at Skills is invited to go to nationals in Atlanta, Georgia. If they do not take the position or take the invite, the second place gets the invitation. So the first person did not take it. So we were offered an invitation to Skills. It's in June, the 19th to the 24th. And we are excited to say that we are going. We do have to raise the funds in a month to get there, and it is rather expensive. So we were wondering if we could have some support from the board to potentially help us get to nationals in Atlanta.
What's your registration fees?
$300 each.
And there's two of you,
Yes,
and there's two students.
one student and me.
They're gonna charge you to register?
I know. Well, it's also like a PD and all sorts of.
Okay.
I sent Greg a whole thing about how I should get paid for professional development. He never responded, but
That was a
we're
good
still
try.
waiting apparently.
Are we okay on our board discretionary funds? I would recommend we pay the registration fee and then the 175 for the student, or do you want to do 175 for both? How would you want to do that?
Oh, we cover her.
We cover her, yeah.
Yeah, so we don't need to pay.
So that would be my recommendation. It'd be what it would be 775 to cover 175 for the student and 600 for the registration fees at a board discretionary. So I need a motion on that.
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Tom, second by Brenda to approve out of the board discretionary funds, 600 for your registration fees and 175 for the student.
Awesome. Thank you guys
All
so
those in
much.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. There you go, Marissa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next up is recognition of the Southwest 3A, 4A Senior Athlete of the Year. Mr. Beardsley, welcome.
Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, Board of Trustees, if I can get Brett. Oh, here he is.
Need to take your hat off, Braxton, so I can see what you look like. Thank you, bud.
He's looking good. He's
Plus,
got
that's what you should do inside a building.
he doesn't have as good of a haircut as I have.
Yeah.
It's my honor to present Braxton Cordova as the Southwest 3A, 4A Athlete of the Year for the state of Wyoming. This is the first one since I've been here in 8 years. It's difficult to win this award because you're going against a lot of 3A schools, and a lot of those athletes do 3 sports versus a lot of our 4A athletes tend to do 2, but not Braxton. Just so everyone knows, this award is 50% is based 50% on your athletic achievements. It's based 35% on academic achievements and 15% on leadership qualities. And so you start with a nomination. From there, the ADs talk about all the nominees. We get down to some finalists, and then we go to a meeting. And the neat thing about Braxton winning this is in the meeting, I was representing Braxton for all of our coaches. It was Braxton and all these football players and basketball players. And the people who voted for Braxton to win this were the head football coach of Rock Springs, the head football coach of Pinedale, the head football coach of Lyman, the head basketball boys coach of Mountain View, the head wrestling coach of Evanston, the head boys basketball coach from Rollins, and the head football coach from Star Valley. And so here we have a state tennis champion, a 3-time state diving champion, and an all-conference soccer player from the 4A, who now is ultimately going to be an all-state 3A player. And on top of that, Braxton not only was a 3-time diving state champ, but he was a 4A and 3A and a 4A tennis pairs state champion. And he's been all state multiple times in those 2 sports besides that. So just a tremendous young man. His grades are unbelievable. He's a leader. He had all the qualities, and it's my pleasure to present Mr. Braxton Cordova as the best senior scholar athlete in the whole Southwest of Wyoming. Unfortunately, the best part of this was I told Braxton I was going to bring his plaque and his certificate. That didn't happen, Braxton. I'll get those to him.
All right, congratulations, Braxton. Nice job. Where are you going? You going to college?
Yeah, University of Wyoming.
Good for you. Good luck at UW. Good luck with the rest of your soccer season. Go Wolves. Okay, next up is recognition of 3A Wrestling Coach of the Year, Mr. Beardsley.
Get Mr. Wisniewski up here, please. He's all fired up. Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, and Board of Trustees. It's my honor again to get another one of our coaches. And probably the second time or third time we've already had Mr. Wisniewski up here from wrestling season. But Josh was voted by all the Wyoming Coaches Association members for wrestling in the winter. He was voted and chosen as 3A Wrestling Coach of the Year in the state of Wyoming. Obviously, you know, his dedication, we won the state championship. I think more importantly, though, the thing about Coach Wisniewski is he garners a lot of respect from the other wrestling coaches in Wyoming for his ethical way of coaching, his, you know, his excellence in coaching and demanding high standards. And it's not easy to be the wrestling coach at Green River High School because our community, the history of our wrestling program, and the expectations are way up here. But Josh seems to balance that. He's actually won us 2 state titles, but one because of scoring issues. You know, we did not pull that one in, but he's done a great job. And it's my honor, or it's my privilege to introduce Josh Wisniewski as 3A Wrestling Coach of the Year.
Congrats, Josh.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll just add one thing to that. You know, I really believe this is accomplishment that's a big team effort. Like my assistant coaches, Michael Hoops and Eric Wright, and then all the volunteers that come in the room and help. And then more importantly, the kids. Like these awards are won because of the big group effort from everybody. So it's not just me. It's more from those kids and the assistant coach that helped me. So thank you.
And Josh, I was going to ask you, is the team that won the state title and had it taken away a couple of years ago because of scoring, are they honored on the wall in the wrestling room?
Not yet, but when we
I
get
I was told a story about a 1981 or 82 Star Valley team that
Yeah.
won it and then got it taken away because of some issue. And
Yeah.
they honor that team in their wrestling room. I would encourage you to honor that team in the wrestling room.
yeah, I've-
Since you still have the trophy.
Yeah. And actually I was going to talk to Mr. Beardsley about that, but I think we're going to, when we put the new number up on the wall, I think we're going to add something for that team
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
They
That
earned
was
it.
that was a tough deal. So,
It was.
all right. Congratulations, Josh.
Thank you guys.
Next up, we're going to skip the next 2. We'll do that next month. The next up is recognition of the FFA state accomplishments. Liz Tolman, welcome. Before Liz gets up here, we had an opportunity to host our Ducks banquet in February, and we had 6 or 7, I think,
Like 6.
6
Maybe 7.
FFA kids help us. And I'm telling you what, those kids can mop the expedition floor faster than anybody I've ever seen. And we really appreciate what your group does for our community when asked.
Thank you. Well, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, members of the board, thank you once again for giving us the opportunity to recognize our outstanding FFA chapter. They clearly were the loud people in the room because now it's quiet. Our chapter had an amazing week in Cheyenne at their state convention back in April. The majority of them had worked since November to prepare for these contests that they were competing in. This year, we took 31 students and competed in 14 career and leadership development events. First and foremost, we were named the chapter of the year. This is an amazing feat when you keep in mind that we are only 7 years old and are one of 60 chapters within Wyoming. This award is designed to recognize FFA chapters that actively implement the mission and strategies of the organization. These chapters improve chapter operations using activities that emphasize growing leaders, building communities, and strengthening agriculture. Chapters are rewarded for providing educational experiences for the entire membership. Aside from this, we are very successful in all of the contests that our students compete in. Through career and leadership development events, members are challenged to develop critical thinking skills, effective decision-making skills, foster teamwork, and promote communication while recognizing the value of ethical competition and individual achievement. Some of our noteworthy accomplishments are, we had the 7th High Team in Agricultural Issues Forum of Kayla Moss, Lindsay Meltzer, Tessa Robinson, Mika Iwin, and Kat Bronstein. With this, they choose a current event within agriculture in Wyoming, and they create a skit that shows you the pros and cons. They chose to do corner crossing. We had the champion extemporaneous speaker, Tristan Drozd. He will represent our school, chapter, and the state of Wyoming at the National FFA Convention in Indianapolis, which I think he will do really well. It's his forte to speak in front of people, and he shines when he gets this opportunity. It's really fun to watch him. Our agriculture mechanics team was the 7th High Team in the state. It was Eric Comer, Dylan Stein, Zeke Allison, Coulter Cudney. And then Zeke Allison was the high individual in the state in electrical systems. So if you need your lights worked on, Zeke is your person. We also had a gold emblem agri-science fair project with Lindsay Meltzer and Tessa Robinson. They will move on to the national sift where their paper goes and they cut it down from 50 essentially of the states down to our top 10. So we're hoping for a top 10 paper. We had the 4th high individual in employment skills with Tristan Drozd. Our ag sales team was the 3rd high team with Clayton Clark, Molly Stanton, Emily Myers, and Tristan Drozd. And Clayton Clark was actually the 7th high individual in the state. If you need something sold, these are your kids to talk to. Our marketing plan team was 5th high in the state with Elena Sharp, Ivory Neer, Zeke Allison. With that, we won 5th high chapter in the leadership event sweepstakes. Our horse evaluation team was 9th in the state with Lillian Allison, Lily Duncan, Zeke Allison, and then Kylie Winters. Our veterinary science team was 9th high in the state. They were 2nd in the team activity. This was Elena Sharp, Jordan Cudney, Lily Janota, and Ava Kellhofer. We also had 3 of our members receive their state FFA degree, which was Zeke Allison, Tristan Drozd, and Kayla Moss. Once again, that was a pretty long list of accomplishments, but I think it means a lot to these students that you guys support them so much. A lot of our students wear multiple hats, but for some of them, this is their home, this is their family, and it's given them a place to be successful. So I really appreciate that and your support. This is the majority of them that went to state with us, and I'm very, very proud of how they hold themselves in the community and all the hard work they put in. Excuse me. Thank you.
Nice job. Congrats. You're welcome to stay if you'd like. Next up is our recognition of the Green River High School State Music and Choir recipients, Quinn Kalinsky and Danielle Forbush. They're in the hallway? Okay. Quinn, welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm here to represent all of music. Obviously, I'm not Danielle Forbush, in case you were confused. But hello, I'm Quinn Kalinsky, band director, inspirational speaker currently, and Danielle Forbush at this moment. And I'd like to speak on behalf of all music at Green River High School. Recently, about 2 months ago, a month ago, wow, time has flown by. In April, we had our district music assessment hosted at Green River High School, where we hire adjudicators to come out and the kids perform in large ensembles and smaller solo ensembles for 2 days and receive a rating. And over the past 2 days that we hosted this in the choirs, all 3 choirs received superior ratings and excellent ratings, and the middle school choirs received superior ratings this last Saturday at Lagoon as well. So awesome year for choir. Danielle Forbush, I can speak as somebody who works side by side with her every day. She's doing awesome. And if you've not seen a choir concert yet, go check them out. If you can get into Green River High School's graduation ceremony and watch them sing for the last time this year, go check them out. They're incredible. Honestly, it inspires me every day to watch her do what she does. Now on the band side of things, we walked away with superior ratings across the board for all bands this year. That's 3 years in a row. So we're really content with, what the bands have been doing. Additionally, the students on band and choir side for solo and small ensemble walked away with various superior and excellent ratings. So very high scoring groups, high scoring individuals. You saw some of them in FFA. You'll see some that are involved also with speech and debate. These kids are incredibly talented, as you know, but they're spread so far, and I don't know how they do it, but we had a great year for the music stuff, and we appreciate the support from everyone here. So thank you.
All right, Quinn, thank you. Good job. Next up is our recognition of the EA State Art Fair students, Michelle Wickstrom. I missed one? Yep. Oh, Dan, sorry. Dan, you're on. Recognition of the All-State National Qualifiers for Speech and Debate. Oh, come on in. We'll do you. Sorry, Dan.
Sorry, on the list, I was actually after him, but that's okay. So this year, I wanted to give you guys a little heads up about the numbers for state art. Mr. Behringer got to come and Mr. Castilian got to come and see what State Art Symposium is. It is huge. We fill the floor of the Casper Event Center if you've never been. We have the highest participation of any student activity in the state because we have loads of kids that show up. So this year we had 61 schools, and those 61 schools brought 4,225 entries to the program. That's both 2D and 3D artwork. Of that, we ribbon only 15%. So 15%, the judges get a certain number per judge of ribbons to award. They walk the floor. They see work that they are impressed with, both conceptually or technically, and they ribbon those pieces. This year, I took these 4 pieces of artwork. Expedition's a small school. And my little art program, sometimes I have students and sometimes I have artists. And these are a couple of my artists they have. Unfortunately, they're not here because fortunately they graduated, which is the whole goal. Shay Allen received a piece for her milkweed photograph. We're very proud of both of them and all the kids that we have that come through our program. And I just wanted to give you some numbers and thank you for supporting arts in our schools.
All right, thank you. Okay, Dan, you're on stage here. All state and national qualifiers for speech and debate. Mr. Parsons is stepping down as the head coach. I want to thank you very much for, I don't know how many years you were involved in it, but it was a long time.
Yeah, 20.
This district appreciates what you've done.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm going to actually talk about that just a little bit here.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, wow. Hi. Okay. Well, Superintendent Behringer, Chairman Core, and Board of Trustees, I want to thank you for inviting us tonight. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dan Parson. I'm the head coach for the speech and debate team. Real quick rundown of our season. This year, we grew to 40 or so kids, which was, it meant we added about 10 or so to our ranks. So not bad. We're headed in the right direction. We started the season in late September with our daily practices going from 3:30 to about 6 p.m. on Monday through Thursday. We finished the season in mid-March at the state tournament. And as you will see, it was a wild ride. In the 21-22 season, we had some successes and I was really proud of what we did. But it was also very clear the team needed to grow and change to adjust to some national trends that had slowly sort of found their way into the Wyoming debate circuit. I was really unsure how to best help that happen, but I knew every kid would need some individual attention and mentorship to make the shift. So a few years ago, I reflected back and realized we adopted the team motto, all the pieces matter. And I was not about to abandon that mission. So this year we tried something new. This is a cool story. I sent a mass email out to our alumni asking for help. I was looking for people who would be willing to meet with kids one-on-one in online meetings, hoping to increase the amount of individual attention they got. And I figured I'd be pretty lucky. Maybe I get 1 or 2 people to help out. After all, these are busy professional people. They're professors and lawyers, PhD students, engineers. And one guy I'm pretty sure works for the NSA, but he refuses to admit it. However, and this is really wild, we had 15 former competitors, people from all over the country who agreed, some of them getting up really late at night so that they could meet during art time, to help for some of them a few hours, some of them every day, Monday through Thursday for 3 hours, several times a week. It was an amazing gift that freed up the other coaches and I so that we could give more individual attention to kids who needed extra help or a little TLC. It was so cool. So I was really blown away by that selfless dedication and devotion to their old team. And they continue to display even now. And as you will see, their efforts were wildly successful. I got to say, go Wolves. Anyway, together we started the long journey of preparing kids to deliver debates, speeches, and performances on a wide variety of subjects. We talked and learned about addiction, codependency, xenophobia, gender issues, body image, and of course, all the, the isms, ageism, sexism, racism. We struggled to establish whether or not Pluto is or is not a planet, and why Vladimir Putin's torso looks strangely wide whenever he walks on video. I won't make you do it. Yeah, we have the wide Putin walk. Anyway, okay. Goofy speech stuff. We debated, is civil disobedience in a democracy morally justified? We debated if the United States should adopt ranked choice voting in federal elections, if the justices of the Supreme Court ought to be term limited. We debated if it is just to have open borders for human migration. We talked about if the US should increase its security cooperation with NATO, and if so, how? And we argued whether or not humans are primarily driven by self-interest. And that's just a snapshot. There was more, a lot more. Anyway, we took all that to 2 workshops, 10 regular tournaments, 2 online tournaments, and the state and national qualifying event. That's 16 competitions and nearly 6 months of practices that hone the skills of these academic athletes in ways that no other sport or activity can do. By the time a 4-year senior graduates from speech and debate, they've written the equivalent of 2 master's theses. We did well, very well. These guys, my team finished first or second at every single tournament. We qualified 8 students to represent Green River at the national tournament this year in Mesa, Arizona in June. And we won the debate sweepstakes award. At state, we finished second to Riverton, but by only 2 points, 2 lousy points. Half the team was down with the stomach flu, and I won't describe it, but it was gross. Every coach got the stomach flu. It was not how I wanted my last tournament to go. Next year, yeah, okay. They're a great team, beat us fair and square. I want it. I want it for you. Also, I don't want to forget that Miss Faith Duncan, raise your hand, Faith. Yeah, that's what an individual state champion in debate looks like. But more than this competitive success, everyone, we enjoyed that this group became a family. There was a warmth and closeness there I haven't seen at this level in a long time. And over, I watched these guys laugh and cry and argue and joke and support one another week after week, practice on the bus, away from home, away from school. Their captains, and I want you to step forward, Faith Duncan, Lucas Bagshaw, and Ellie Taylor. These guys led them beautifully, modeling inclusivity and sportsmanship with warm and open hearts. One more time, go Wolves. In fact, maybe this is a good time to do this. Oh, Lee, you made it. Sweet. There's a lot of you. Do you mind if they all try to say a little bit?
Let's do it.
Okay, I don't want to, but yeah, they'll keep it brief. They know what they're doing. Okay.
Hello, my name is Mackenzie Bagshaw. I am a sophomore and I was on the state squad for the speech and debate team. I am first because despite being speech kids, we are still scared of this. I do several events. I am probably one of the most chaotic ones. My main events are poetry, oratory, public forum, debate, impromptu, and I'm considered the speech team's guinea pig. I have done pretty much every single event out there. And if I want any of you guys to take anything out of this, out of each of us talking, just know that speech and debate has changed my life and it has changed the way that I look at the world. It's gained me friendships that are so strong, they will last through anything. And in my opinion, speech and debate is one of the most important programs at the high school. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Becca Lynn Sweat. I am a freshman. The events I did this year were dramatic interpretation and informative speaking, and I'm looking forward to trying a lot more events next year. I was on the state squad and I made it to semifinals at state and came out first out of the entire 3A district. And I was also a third alternate for nationals in informative speaking. Most of all, I really just want to say that I never thought I would be able to stand up here and talk in front of a bunch of people. And speech has really taught me how important it is to be able to do this. And it's really taught me to embrace myself and be able to do what I'm capable of doing. Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, my name is Soraya Mays. I'm a junior. Yeah, okay. I do original oratory and public forum debate. You will find that I am much better in one than I am in the other. At state, I was a semifinalist in original oratory, and at districts, I qualified for nationals in Arizona in original oratory. And then if there's anything else I want to put out there, it's that if you have incoming freshmen, that this is one of the best activities I can recommend for them to do. And I've tried most of them, and it's the best one yet, so.
Good job.
Hi, my name is Abigail Smith. I am a junior and I do the events dramatic interpretation, original oratory, and duo. I am an incoming captain. At state, I finished first in dramatic interpretation and original oratory in 3A, and I qualified for nationals. And I just want you guys to know that speech is one of the most special things to me. So thank
Good job.
Hello, oh my gosh. Hello, my name is Ileana Birmingham. I'm a freshman this year, and I do dramatic interpretation and congressional debate. And I tried public forum, but that did not go my way. So I was a part of the state squad, and I would just like to say that this has really changed my life. All three, plus all of our online coaches and all of the helpers, all three of our coaches have sincerely changed my life, and I will always remember them.
Alrighty, I am James Bagshaw and I am 6th in line, not because I'm the 6th least scared, but because that's where I was, counter to what my sister would have you believe. So my grade is I am free, or as my parents would have me put it, a graduated senior. I do congressional debate along with cross-examination debate, and I am an outgoing captain. In state, I placed 3rd in my debate. In district, I was the first alternative for my debate. Next year, I'm heading off to Brigham Young University, Idaho to study to become a radiologist. Basically, I'll just be looking at x-rays. And anything else I want to put out there for people to know? Well, I'll just echo what my sister said. I'm still good friends with people who are in speech and debate my freshman and sophomore years. So highly recommend it for the kids of all the parents that are here.
Good job.
I'm Jordan Pulling. I am a senior this year at Green River High School. I did policy debate or cross-examination. I did info and congressional debate. For my state finish, we were 3rd. My district finish was the first alternative. And then per person's request, I'm hopefully going to Northwest. And for anything else, I just want to say this was my first year doing speech and debate as a senior too, and it has completely changed my life. And it's never too late to, even if you have kids in high school now, I highly recommend getting them into speech and debate because it's never too late. Thank you.
All right, good job.
Hello, my name is Faith Duncan, and I am a senior about to graduate from Green River High School. The events that I do are Lincoln Douglas debate, as well as extemporaneous speaking and congressional debate. And furthermore, my role was I was the debate captain. And over my 4 years, I've mainly done debate events. And now I built a spreadsheet that calculates it. We are the most powerful Lincoln Douglas debate team in the entire state. So we've done quite well in the debate range. My state finish, I was the state champion in Lincoln Douglas debate and also made semis in extemporaneous speaking. My district finish, I qualified in congressional debate as well as extemporaneous speaking, and I was the first alternate for Lincoln Douglas debate. And the college that I'm going to next year is Yale University. I will be studying ethics, politics, and economics, which is one major. And this will prepare me for law school, which I'm hoping for Harvard Law, not sure yet. And other things that I would like to put out there just for everyone to know is that I could not have gotten into Yale University or done any of this without this speech and debate team. And we've had a lot of trying times with COVID-19 and just with different leadership transitions. And as we're going through another transition, I just ask that keep us in your mind and maybe provide whatever support you can. Thank you.
Hi, I'm William Robertson. I'm a senior. I'm graduating next week. I do Lincoln Douglas debate, and that's what I qualified for the national tournament at districts at, and I also got to quarterfinals at the state tournament in Lincoln Douglas. I'm going to the University of Wyoming, and I am using the trustees scholarship, which was, as echoing what Faith said, this activity is mainly what led to me getting the scholarship. It's really good for us. And anything else that I want to add is that, like, we've said it all, I'm just mirroring everyone else, but this is a really important activity and you learn so much that you will use for the rest of your life. Thank you.
Hello. Okay. My name is James Leffers. I'm currently a sophomore at Green River High School. I do many events. I do extemporaneous speaking, congressional debate. I did an LD a bit for this year, and I also did PF a bit for this year. At districts, I was the first alternate for extemporaneous speaking, and I'm also a national qualifier in congressional debate. And then anything else that I'd like you to know is just that we could not do this without such a welcoming and such a heartwarming community, such as you guys. So just thank you so much for this. And this event has really just changed my life, as I'm sure it has for like everyone else in this line. So thank you.
Okay. Hello, I am Silas Chetterbach. I'm a sophomore at Green River High School. Some of the events that I do is extemporaneous speaking, Lincoln Douglas debate, and public forum debate. In districts, I am the third alternate for extemporaneous speaking. And then also one other thing that I wanted to add, going off of what James was saying, just kind of echoing it, is that without you guys, none of this could have happened. And thank you so much for the support and anything that you could have given. Thank you.
Hello, I am Jasper Kana, and I am a junior. The events I do is program oral interpretation, poetry, and duo. So at state, I placed 6th overall in both my events, poetry and poi, but I got 1st in poetry for 3A, and then 3rd in poi. Some things I would like to say is this gave me a voice. I was silent before this. This will give you a voice if you choose to do this. Thank you so much for your support.
Hi, I'm Ellie Taylor, and I'm dressed for art and speech and debate, so I apologize for not being in more formal wear. I'm a senior and an outgoing captain. I did dramatic interpretation and duo interpretation, which basically means I made people cry for 4 years. At state, I went to semis at state, and then I was a 3rd alternate in duo for our district's finish. I'm going to be going to the University of Wyoming next year for graphic design. And if I had to tell anybody in this room anything, it's never too late to learn how to use your words. This team taught me everything I know about public speaking, and I would totally recommend it. And thank you all for your support for this team.
Haley Noyes, and first off, I'd like to apologize for my late arrival. I'm a junior at Green River High School. I do Lincoln Douglas debate, original oratory, and I qualified for nationals in big questions debate. I did not qualify at, I did not place at the state level. However, I did qualify for nationals. I'm not sure what college I'm going to yet exactly, but what I really want to say, and I'll keep this short, amongst other things like learning politics and learning how to speak, I learned that just because other people are mean to you doesn't mean you have to be mean back. The ultimate thing I've learned from this team is that as long as we have each other and as long as we have a strong community, we can do anything, no matter what. No matter your competitive success or how many medals you won this season, you mean just as much to this team as if you didn't take any medals home at all. It doesn't matter. What matters is what's on the inside, your heart and your soul. And I will always be grateful to my team and my community for that. Thank you.
Guys, I'm really proud of you. Board of Trustees, I know you invited us here today to recognize these students, so thank you for that. Not all districts are as attentive and supportive of teams like ours, and it means a great deal to me personally, and I know to my kids. So I don't wish to take away from any of that, but if you'll indulge me for a moment, I do want to switch gears and just say something. As many know, this is my last year as the coach of this team. After 20 years with this crazy thing in my life, my wife Beth and I talked it over and concluded that it was a good time for me to fade away into the background. So I resigned a couple months ago. I'm kind of at a stage in life where we have elderly parents that need more care. And frankly, I'm getting older too. Those long bus rides are a little harder on my joints than they used to be. But of course, I find myself reflective, and it puts me in mind of an old story. Many of you probably know The Velveteen Rabbit by Marjorie Williams Bianco. In it, a little boy's toy bunny is desperate to somehow become a real creature. And I'd like to share a little passage of that story real quick. I can find it germane. Now, I'm a debate guy, not an interpretive speaker, like some of these kids, so don't judge me too harshly, especially some of you. Here we go. Real isn't how you are made, said the skin horse. It's a thing that happens to you. When a child loves you for a long, long time, not just to play with, but really loves you, then you become real. Does it hurt? Asked the rabbit. Sometimes, said the skin horse, for he was always truthful. When you are real, you don't mind getting hurt. Does it happen all at once, like being wound up, he asked, or bit by bit? It doesn't happen all at once, said the skin horse. You become. It takes a long time, and that's why it doesn't happen often to people who break easily or have sharp edges, who have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off, and your eyes drop out, and you get a little loose in the joints and very shabby. But these things don't matter at all, because once you are real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand. Folks, coaching speech and debate has been some of the most important work I will ever have done in my life. I would like to thank my assistant coaches, Renee Johnson and Nick Hoskins, as well as my late and dear friend coaching partner, Karina White, wherever you are. But most importantly, I want to thank my students, all of them, past and present, for making me real. It has been a sincere honor and a privilege. Go Wolves. Thank you.
I'd just like to say something real quick. My son, a number of years ago, went or joined speech and debate, and I said, "What's that?" I had no idea what it was. For you kids, I'm flying out this weekend to watch my son graduate from law school. This program did that for him. He wouldn't be where he is today without this. For Dan and Karina, you changed his life, and we're forever grateful for that. So thank you.
Tell him congratulations.
Will do.
All right, good job. And if you're seniors over there, I haven't signed the diplomas yet, so you're welcome to stay if you'd like. That didn't work.
No.
They're out of here. All right. Last but not least, the recognition of the Green River High School State Art Fair students and presentation on BOCES guest artist, Mr. Stice and Denise. Welcome. Tough act to follow.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You put us after the speech, kids. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Anyways, Chairman Core, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Behringer, we had a great year. Things just seem to be kind of building. I don't know how to switch this. I'm a visual guy, so we're going to look at pictures. You like that? Here we go. Okay, that'll jog my memory as I go through here. At State Art, there's over 4,000 pieces each year. This year was no exception. Our 3D students, I'm going to talk about them, and then I'll shift over to Miss Mosley to talk about our 2D art. Our 3D students did exceptionally well. There are 26 congressional awards given out, and those are selected by a special panel of judges. They deem our exemplary amongst the work in the show. Of those 26, we had 9 of those. And our friend Mia Rosas down there, she had 4 of those, 4 of the 26 all on her own. Her high school career, she's going to finish with 6 congressional awards. That's crazy. If you finish with 1, it's like you won the state championship, and she did it 6 times. Adding to that, she also received the highest scholarship that we give out at State Art each year. The organization gives out 6 scholarships each year, and Mia got the top 1, and we just couldn't be prouder of her. She's going off to Utah to be a world famous artist, and we've talked about this before. She's going to remember me with $1 million. That's all I ask. Show you some more pictures. It looks like duplicates because she just keeps winning. Oh no, I'm zooming now. What did I do? Help me. Okay. There's Maya Wickhorse. She's here too. She won a congressional piece of the work that went out first. I kind of get, or Miss Mosley and I get a behind the scenes little view, and all the other teachers would come by her work and stop and just go, oh my. It's so beautiful, so time consuming. She does a thing called slip trailing, and she basically drawing with clay. It's almost like frosting a cake, but way harder. And she's a master at that. Haley Tyler, I wish you could be in my classroom 3 years ago, because there was clay here. All of these people were covered in clay, all from Haley Tyler. And boy, has she come a long ways. And look at her with the congressional award. Now you can sit next to her on a wheel. You don't have to leave a wheel in between the two of you and not get covered in clay. It's great. Oh gosh, the awards keep going. Kimberly Johnson had a piece selected by the First Lady of Wyoming to be displayed in the governor's mansion for the year. So that's a really cool honor. This is what state art looks like. Look at that. There's artwork everywhere. 46% of our pieces got ribbons. So that's really cool, really high percentage. I think only 1 or 2 schools had more than that this year. It's weird. It's not like state wrestling or basketball. It's not like a state champion art school. But I like to think we did pretty good. Okay, a couple other things I wanted to say before I hand it over to Miss Mosley. Actually, I'm going to hold off until we talk about the visiting artist thing on that one. Okay, sorry, I'm all screwed up. Look at the beautiful people that went with us to State Art. They all had a lot of fun. This is us in NC. They host kind of a big dance for everyone. Look at me with all our awards. Isn't that crazy? Look, close-ups of the work. Just outstanding. When I look at our work now, I used to say we're making collegiate level work. We're not. We're making professional level work. These kids could show in any gallery in Santa Fe or in Jackson Hole, and they'd sell their work left and right. Really, really proud of them. Some more of Mia's work. Chance Larson also did really good. He's won now, I think, 4 congressional awards. These are 2 of them that he got this year. He graduated at semester, but still sent his work. Outstanding. Kayla Green, sculptor and a painter. I think she's going to be the one painting our senior wall this year. So I'm really excited for that coming up. So, okay, I think I'm going to hand it over to Miss Mosley now.
So I ended up having to do a lot of the speaking at State Art because I was the acting vice president of our organization. So I'm keeping this one short. I mostly wanted to thank Mr. Behringer and Mr. Castillion for supporting us and actually coming up to Casper, seeing the show. So thank you. That meant a lot. Amazing. Of the courses I teach digital photography, computer graphics, 2D design, and sculpture. And 16 of those ribbons came from our digital classes, which is not a huge number, but it's a huge accomplishment because people love to flock towards the 3D, the sculptural stuff. And I think we're in a world of everything's on Instagram and feels so digital. So to see work that's highlighted, that's digitally done, and really one-off and intimate from the artist, and to be noticed for that is a really big deal. One of our kiddos that's here tonight took 4 pieces and got 4 ribbons. That is Ellie Taylor. She had a piece from 2D design, a piece that she collaborated in 2D design and computer graphics, and some other computer graphics work. And she's just this all around. You heard her talking with the speech and debate people, and she's going into graphic design at University of Wyoming. So proud of you. So that's just my little highlight. That's about all I have. I think Shane covered it all. So thank you.
I'm back. I forgot, I have a couple other people up here that we got to talk about. Elena Apperson is a sophomore, and she's making these big giant pots that are incredibly terrifying to fire, for one, because they're so huge, and she likes to alternative fire. So that involves me lifting an 1800 degree pot out of a kiln and putting it into a garbage can, which sounds weird. I'll explain it later. And then Kyle's been there. He is, if I need something, Kyle's going to get it done for us. He's learned a lot, and he can get everybody laughing in a classroom. I'm so glad he came. So this is the 8th year we've had a visiting artist come and work with our ceramic students. This is the reason why our ceramics are head and shoulders above the other ceramics people in the state. What this does is, I don't know how to switch this. This is some of the work of the artists that came in and visited us this year. Seth Green, he teaches at Purdue University, and he makes sculptural ceramics. So they're functional, but they're almost more on the sculpture side. He's really inspired by architecture. And each year we have one of these people come in. It's like adding another word or another couple phrases to our vocabulary. And that gets built into my teaching. It gets built into kind of the culture that we have. And it just raises the ante each year. The kids can see what's possible in this. And the best part is they can see someone that this is their living. They're making money at this. So it's not just a hobby, it can be a career. These are just action shots. The wonderful weather we had this winter, he got snowed in. We had him only for a day, but he really crammed a lot in. He was sweating and tired after that day. He worked his butt off for us. And the day he was snowed in Denver, he did a Zoom meeting with us and got to meet the kids that way. So it's kind of interesting. So I think that is all I have to say. I couldn't be prouder of the direction we're heading and how awesome our kids are. So thank you for letting us.
Thank you very much. Good job. And I would say thanks to the Board of Trustees for supporting the arts. I mean, it's obviously tonight proves what we're doing in this district is pretty good stuff. Next is our approval of the agenda, and I don't believe I have any changes, so I need a motion, please.
Second.
Moved by Brenda, second by Ashley to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is approval of the consent agenda items. Is there anything you would like to take off to discuss? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
A motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Second.
Moved by Tom, second by David to approve the consent agenda item. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is the Green River Education Association. Consider ratification of the interest-based negotiation agreement. Brianne, welcome.
All right. Good evening, Chairman Steve Core, Board of Directors, and Superintendent Behringer. I come to you tonight as the Green River Education Association President to acknowledge the good faith efforts that went into the negotiations this year. I want to thank everyone on our negotiations team and thank them for their professionalism, respect, and hard work. And the IBN agreement passed with a 98% vote. Yes. So thank you.
Okay, I need a motion to approve our interest-based negotiation agreement with our employees.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Dan, second by David. Any discussion on this? Anybody want to say anything? Thought it went really well.
Thank you.
Thank you for your professionalism. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And I am going to have to abstain from that. Next is district goals and leadership. Reminder of the retirement social on May 10th from 4 to 6 p.m. right here in this boardroom. I did have an opportunities. We had actually a pretty good crowd out at Granger for only one person showing up, but it was nice to be at that building again. I haven't been out there in a couple of years, and I'm glad to see it isn't cracking any further than it was several years ago. So, but we met with the teacher out there, and I thought it went really well. Dave, anything?
No, it's good.
Mark? Thomas, you were there?
No, it was great. Yeah.
Yep, good stuff. Also, just as a reminder, Green River High School graduation is coming up Monday. Expedition Academy graduation is Tuesday. The Tolman graduation is May 18th at 5, and I am not able to attend that. Is there anybody that can get out there and do that? Okay. So, and congratulate them. That's 8th grade graduation. So, and she'll be coming in town, right?
Yep.
Okay,
So
cool.
if anybody wants to ride out, they can, I'll be heading out.
Okay. Next item is consider approval of the certified resignation request from Dr. Foos.
Thank you, Chairman Core. There are no certified resignations tonight. So if I may, I 7.2. Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, trustees, thank you for your consideration for approval for Shari Landon, PE teacher at Harrison Elementary.
Need a motion, please.
Motion, go ahead.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Brenda, second by Tom to approve Shari and Landon as a PE teacher at Harrison Elementary School. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next, consider approval of the certified sick leave bank request. Jason?
In the confidential board docs, you can see the two folks that have requested additional sick bank days for catastrophic events that happened in their lives. Chairman Core, I know you like to ask the question. 271 is the current balance. If it is the board's will to grant these requested days, it would drop down to 236.
Okay, I need a motion, please.
A motion to approve both.
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Tom, second by Dan to approve the certified sick leave bank request. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. Next, presentation of the, thanks, Dr. Foos. Presentation on the Level Up program. Heather Phillips and Brittany Montgomery, welcome. How's your back?
Right. Thank you, Chairman Core and Board of Trustees and Superintendent Behringer. I am Brittany Montgomery. This is
Heather Phillips.
And we wanted to come to you tonight to present about Level Up. But before we do that, we just wanted to thank you because of the board, because of our district. You guys have provided us this opportunity, the time to travel, the time to stay. And we really, really, really appreciate it. So thank you very much. Okay, so I'm scared to use this after. Okay, I did it. Okay. So what is Level Up? So Level Up is a cohort that's comprised of the Wyoming Teachers of the Year recipients from their district, and also their principals are invited. It's also the Milken Award winners and their principals are invited. Also the Presidential Award for Excellence in Math and Sciences recipients, and also some counselors. So it's quite the collective of individuals. So here's just a little map. And what you'll see is we have a pretty decent variety of people from all over the state. Our goal is to try and get 1 or 2 in every single area. We're working on it. And the other thing you'll notice is it's also a very vast arrangement from principals, from high school principals, middle school principals, elementary. We have all sorts of teachers from different areas and then counselors. So it's a pretty neat group of individuals. All right. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. Our objectives for Level Up is to work on policy, leadership, and networking. Brittany does a lot better job with the policy part of it. She is so brave going into the legislature and telling them how she feels and how they can help us in our communities. I sit in the back and just take the pictures of her, but seriously, like Level Up has provided us so many opportunities to see what leadership is all about, networking with other people in other communities, working with others, seeing what they're doing, seeing the great stuff that's happening in our state. And it's a really liberating experience so far.
All right. So because of those 3 main objectives, we tried to focus on 2 separate goals this year. So the first goal that we set was trying to change the narrative of education. So shocker, it's not exactly everyone's favorite topic right now. neither are teachers. And so we have been trying to change that narrative, trying to remind people of the good teachers that they had, that there are good teachers out there, that we are doing what's best. And not just that, but trying to build that trust with parents again, with communities again, and other people. So we've been using social media, just connecting with communities. And again, like Heather said, it's been really interesting to have lenses in some of these different areas in Wyoming. Not every place is like Sweetwater County, turns out. And so it's been very eye-opening, and just, again, it's not just changing the narrative for others, but also for us. It's been really eye-opening. And then the second goal is advocacy for education. Like Heather said, when I'm sure you felt the same, when we were awarded and they're like, congratulations, you do speeches now. We're like, what? What does that mean? I've never been involved with policy, but it's something that I've learned a lot, and it's intense and it's frustrating, as I'm sure many of you know. They don't always love to listen. But I will say I've made a lot of great progress with specifically our joint education committees. And yeah, so like Heather said, we have some fun pictures for you. So this was from the 67th legislative session. It's just crazy that it's been 67. And so part of our job, part of our duties, we go down there and we get involved. And yeah, do you want to talk about what we did there?
I think the biggest thing for me when I went down there is seeing the process of education and what goes into it. I'm tell me what to do and I'm going to do it, but watching these guys, so we don't need to this or we need this, and I'm like, oh my goodness, and them kind of going back and forth. It was very intimidating, and I sat there with my jaw on the ground for the most part of it. And then Brittany gets up there and does some talking and my jaw falls even farther. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I will not do that. But there are a lot of great people, a lot of great educators in this state that are doing what's best for us and advocating for what we need. And I would definitely encourage all of you to go. It's not something that I was interested in. I still don't know how much I love it, but we need to know it, and we need to be knowledgeable about what's happening for education for us.
100%. It's uncomfortable. I mean, it's debate. Like, I wish we had spent time with those speech and debate kids, because I feel like I might next year as I work on my doctorate. So anyways, yeah. So the other thing that we got to do was just tour this incredible Capitol building, which if you haven't been, again, it's also pretty extraordinary. Like
history.
Yeah, the history of it it's incredible. Like Heather said, last year I was kind of voluntold that I'd be doing some of these public speaking engagements, and Wyoming is it is the only state that allows just a teacher to set foot on the House and the Senate floor. We are the only state. So I'm one of only in my 55 cohort that had that opportunity, and it's huge. And I got to speak on a couple of the different bills. One of them was standards. As many of you know, there's a lot, and the state is trying to take some of them away. So that's been good. And then we also spoke on a childcare bill, and it was pretty interesting. So I got the opportunity to sit up. This is Representative Heineman, and he was absolutely incredible. He escorted me in to the House, and the Speaker of the House remembered me from last year. So we had a great conversation. It's been very rewarding. And like Heather said, I had no idea how bills worked. I'm trying to work on building a universal kindergarten bill and pre-K bill, not kindergarten, sorry. Anyway, so it's been a great opportunity for us.
Another part of when we go to our level up and meet with our cohorts, we worked on a book study called Crucial Conversations. I'd highly recommend that for all of us. It focused on how we as educators can use our voice, how to use our voice. And the biggest takeaway I probably got from this book is that you can use your crucial conversations outside of our profession. Mm-hmm. So I practice on my husband a little bit, and he just loves that. But seriously, our crucial conversations, they involve high stakes. So when we're emotionally invested in something and we have different views, and I mean, we do that daily with parents, students, coworkers, colleagues, people at the grocery store. again, biggest thing I took away is we need to have these hard conversations with other people if we're going to be goal driven and oriented to a solution, and be honest and open in your communication. I think that was very important, but definitely go check out this book. I'm serious.
It's
It
incredible.
was a really good conversation with our cohort.
Yeah, and one of the other things, again, because we have this variety of people that are involved, we're able to work on some of these discussions and have some not fake critical conversations, but we're able to have those practice rounds, and we get to practice on legislators and other people that are higher up and very intimidating for us sometimes to talk to when we get out of the classroom. So it's been really nice to have that too. Some of the things that are coming up is we also partner with the National Guard. And so we go to this educational leadership rendezvous, and Heather and I will be going to that in August. Yes. And there is a video, but we probably don't have time to play it. But it just, it kind of goes to show how we're partnering with the National Guard, trying to show that education and school, and what we're doing is we're building community members that are career oriented, not necessarily just you're either going to college or you're not. There's pathways, and the National Guard provides one of those. So it's going to be super fun. And then last but not least is our alumni weekend. We partner with the University of Wyoming, and we do a lot of speaking and work with them on their programs. And you get to go down and they recognize you as a teacher of the year. It's pretty incredible. The best part for me this year was when I went down there and I was walking away. I had 4 of my seniors last year come up and meet me on the field because they attend there now. So that was pretty neat to be able to experience that full circle of I went there, now my students, my kindergartners are there. So anyways, we appreciate this opportunity. We hope to be bridging and bringing some of the things we learn about to our community. And we're also really proud to share some of the great work Sweetwater number 2 does. So
thank you guys.
Yeah, any questions?
Questions? Good
Thank you.
stuff. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda is our bid request items. Consider approval to go out to bid for oil, gas, and fluids. Rachel, welcome.
Good evening, Chairman Core, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Behringer. Transportation would like to request authorization to solicit bids for fuel, oil, DEF, antifreeze for the Transportation Department with specifications for the transportation's fleet needs. We will evaluate the responses and present recommendations for consideration at the June board meeting.
Okay, need a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Brenda, second by Ashley to go out to bid for fuel, oil, DEF, and antifreeze for transportation. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you,
Thank you.
Rachel. Next, consider approval to go out for an RFP for switches. JR, who's hadn't had anything to do for a couple of weeks. Welcome to the board meeting.
Thank you, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, members of the board. Yeah, it's been a busy week. So kind of going along with that, it's about time for summer projects. Here's one of them. We are replacing 8 switches that are reaching end of life. We do not expect it to exceed $62,000. And this is for next year. So
Okay, need a motion, please?
A motion to approve.
Okay, moved by Tom, second by David to go out for an RFP to replace the 8 switches for maintenance, transportation, technology, and central office buildings, not to exceed 62,000. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next, consider approval to go out for an RFP for desktop computer replacements. JR?
Yep. So we have 69 desktops, same thing, end of life. We're replacing them mostly for the secondaries. There are a couple for other buildings, but 69, we do not expect it to exceed $56,000.
Need a motion, please?
So move.
Second.
Moved by Dan, second by Brenda for an RFP to purchase 69 desktops, not to exceed 56,000. Any discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, JR.
Thank you.
Next, consider approval of the RFP results for food and non-food commodities. Leah, nope, Chris, welcome.
Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, and Board of Trustees, on behalf of Nutrition Services Director Leah Kennison, They did do the Western Wyoming Food Co-op bid, and Nicholas was the sole bidder. And they have selected them. Green River School District's food and non-food budget is a total of 408,000. And she would like your approval for that.
So the 408,000 is our cost.
That's our food budget that we will get from the co-op.
I need a motion to approve Nichols in that number, please. Or Nicholas.
Nicholas.
Moved by Brenda, second by David to go with Nicholas for $408,000 as part of the food co-op. Any discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, consider approval of the RFP result recommendations for the Harrison Elementary Inclusionary Playground. Alan's out of the office and Steve's not here, so Chris, it's up to you.
Okay.
Or Steve here?
Yes.
I think you should make Lake do this. Okay. Okay, Chris, you can do it.
Okay. So Dr. Demery and Principal Lake and his team at Harrison received 3 bids and evaluated them. The funding came in and the recommendation is to Garrett Parks and Play out of Murray, Utah for the bid of $214,968.80. And that project is going to have to be funded from 2 budget sources. The ESSER 2 grant was approved to pay for the playground in the amount of $100,000. The remaining amount, which is going to have to cover the playground surfacing, has been approved to come out of by the Capital Maintenance Committee to come out of major maintenance, and it is eligible to be paid out of major maintenance. The criteria was used with price being the highest criteria, and to make this recommendation.
Okay, I need a motion, please.
A motion to approve $214,968.80 to Garrett Parks and Play.
Okay, moved by Tom, second by Dave to approve this. I had a conversation with you about the turf. I was hoping that we could use the old football turf and not have to buy the turf.
Yes, and we did ask that question, and Mr. Behringer may have an answer for you.
The condition of the turf and some of the things that have built up in there over the course of time would not work for that. So that was taken into consideration.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Next, Doug, is the chillers have arrived at Green River High School and they are putting them in the building. So that's why he's not here. They showed up at 7 o'clock tonight. So we need to consider approval, go out to bid for the aquatic center boiler replacement. And I don't think we need you. The replacement estimated cost is not to exceed 64,000. And this did go through main facilities, so.
I'll motion to approve, go out to bid.
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Tom, second by Ashley to go out to bid for the replacement of the aquatic center pool domestic boiler, not to exceed 64,000. Any discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is the combustion and control services has put a proposal in for $63,100. And the quote is, well, you can read it. It's right there. And this did go through facilities as well. And we have agreed to approve this. So I need a motion, please. The go out to bid for the roof replacement. Oh,
Right here.
right
Motion
here.
to approve.
Next page. Yes, roof replacement. Sorry. This did go through the facilities as well. Not to exceed 100,000.
Make a motion to approve.
Moved by Brenda, second by David. Any discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is we're not doing this? Oh, that one. All right, okay. I got it, I think, right here. Next is to approve or consider approval of the guaranteed maximum price for central kitchen upgrade. And this project is huge. A lot bigger than I think we thought it was going to be.
Yes. And I do have the blueprints in my office if you want to stop by.
Yeah. So those are in there, Mark. I think you asked about those blueprints. They are in there. This is not to exceed I got to say it, $3,671,512. This is for the Lincoln Middle School kitchen project. It'll be a redo of that whole area. Groat House Construction is the bidder on this. Construction management risk. So I need a motion, please.
Motion.
Go ahead.
Motion to approve.
Moved by Brenda,
Second.
second by Tom. Groat House Construction, $3,671,512. This will be a split project. Some will happen this year, some the next year.
And
It's
I
a big
can-
project.
I have questions
Sure.
on this. The Groat House is the only bidder?
It was a construction, how do they call that? Construction management risk. And we interviewed 3 people. And we selected Groat House. The
Okay.
facilities committee did. So no, wasn't there 3, Mark?
Yeah.
It seemed like there were one from Rollins, Groat House, and there was another one. So. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Next, consider approval of the RFP results for the security bollards for the district. Groat House Construction again on this for $32,336. This was a negotiated price because we were going to do a heck of a lot more than we had. Then we were going to do more than, excuse me. But we have switched some monies over to a screening system on our windows. If you remember the attack a couple of weeks ago, there's been so many of them. When the attacker blew the holes with the weapon through the door and she gained access immediately to the building, these screens we're going to put on this will take at least 6 to 8 seconds longer to get through there. And if you've seen a video of it, it's impressive. It does hold them up a bit before they can go into our building. So we shifted some of that money for the bollards over to that. So that's why it's only
I think you meant
32.
6 to 8 minutes.
6 to 8 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah. Did I say seconds?
Yeah.
6 to 8 minutes. So anyway, we've moved this, shifted this over. So it's 32,336. And in your booklet, you can see kind of where we're going to go. We originally were going to go 105,000. We knocked that down to 32,336 for this year. And then we'll consider more next year, but we've shifted the funds. I hope I didn't confuse you all. So I need a motion to approve 32,336.
I'll motion to approve $32,336 Groat House Construction for the district bollard.
Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Second by Dan. Any further discussion on this? Okay,
Was this
go
put
ahead.
Out for bid or was this?
Yes.
negotiated? It was, and they were the only bidders.
Yes. Okay. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is the Lincoln Middle School interior security doors. The bid on that is 183,800 from Groat House Construction. And if you've been in Lincoln where the 6th grade level is, there's no blockage. We can't lock down sections of Lincoln. So I'm not sure why we didn't do this when we remodeled Lincoln, but we didn't. And this is the recommendation from a group of police officers who looked at our buildings and they came up with the bollards and this is how we can secure our building. It's crazy we got to do it, but I think we're crazy not to do it. So I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Brenda, second by Ashley to go with Groat House on the Lincoln Middle School's security doors for 183,800. Any discussion?
Was there any other bidders?
I have no idea. Can't answer that.
Chris, was there any other bidders on this project?
I don't think there was.
So there wasn't.
Memory
but I
serves.
remember.
I can't guarantee that 100%, but I think I say no.
But we are taking it out to bid per state statutes, correct? Is that? what we're
Yes,
supposed to
yes,
do?
Yep.
So no other bidders.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next items is a short presentation by our Region 5 BOCES Director, Dan Mayer. Dan, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you, Chairman.
Sorry it took so long to get to you,
Oh,
but
it's
we are
great.
celebrating tonight.
I enjoy that every time. It seems like I'm here on the celebration night, and I have to tell you, I enjoy it. I truly do. It's one of the good things. You go out and you're doing all this business, and it's fun to see all the accomplishments of the students at Green River High School and the wonderful job you do. And each year it's the same thing. So kudos to you. And I agree with the arts. Wow. Speech and debate. That's so impressive. Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, members of the board, thanks for having me here tonight. Tongue in cheek, short presentation, all 60 pages of it. I am not going to go through that. I will not make you go through that. I did put it in advance. So Chairman Core, really, I can go through the first few slides if you want to. You have had it in advance if you want to ask me questions. In short, it's our annual review of mill funds. And this year, last year I came to you with a lot of like unknown questions. What are we going to do? Our numbers at CBRV Ranch were down. And we put some measures into place, and we have now got back to capacity of where we were previous to COVID. And we are really in some need of some renovation to our facilities. So as always, we formally thank you for your support of us. In our analysis that is in the board presentation, our board was really, we're not requesting, we're asking the appetite of our boards to consider for a short amount of time to go to $500,000, the maximum amount that we can, to work on our renovation projects that we have at our facilities. We've been out for quite a few board meetings now, and we're getting a good flavor of everyone's appetite. And I don't think people are super hungry for that option. And so we are looking at other potential ways to go into that direction. But I did want to just give you, the rundown of that. So we do not receive any funding from any local or state or federal sources. So any of those capital, we have to generate through the fees that we charge for the services we provide and the mill levy funds that you provide. In this slide, we made it really easy. You can see the purple if you've gone through it. It hyperlinks to every area. I am not sure if I'm going to be able to scroll through that, so it's not going to probably work super good on my end. If you could do that for me. Months after exploring. So if you want to hit the hyperlink, if you just go back up, if you just click the hyperlink, it'll jump you down. So these were the three options that we considered. If you scroll the slides, I think I can scroll from here now. Yep. You can look, it's hard to read for the audience, but we did do an analysis of all the different options. And within each of those options, we really considered what those options were within each. If you scroll down further for me, the next slide. These were some of the, just brief, there was a lot more discussion in each of these, what the recommendation, closing, it was very clear. We really said, is it time for us to maybe not have the residential service up in CBRV? Is it time to look at doing other things? Our day schools are growing. We're doing some other things. And we got a resounding no, please do not. We are a shortage of beds for the type of students that we serve. And so we said, what about other locations? We know there might be other places. Could we move and maybe go someplace that's not Teton County? Because we heard that feedback. And really, we gained nothing from losing the property up in Jackson. And we would just gain the same amount of costs trying to purchase land, build something. So really moving on some established area didn't seem like a wise idea either. And there's really some benefits that we found. We are fully staffed. We are fully at our new capacity. We are licensed for 45 kids. We can only safely save up to about 28 kids. And it's purely a facilities problem. We are in the black in all of our operations. We're coming to you with this mill levy request because we don't have, it's about our facilities, just basically. If you scroll down again, you can see we did a very involved strategic capital planning with all of our property and looking with the app. If we do nothing, if we say we just keep status quo, that will be $12 million. Our facilities are deteriorating and it's just unsafe. When you talk about security doors, we're still hard key and lock. We don't have an entrance into our facility. Again, we're not part of the the School Facilities Commission. So the fees we charge in the mill levy is how we generate to do our facilities work. And the clientele have just changed. The students we worked with 30 years ago are different. They were developmentally delayed and they were going to go into transition care. Now we're working with severe traumatized, mentally ill students who have severe violent and behavior outbursts. And so our facilities need to match that new clientele.
Well, let's open up the big discussion here.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Yep.
I completely understand the importance of your program. No
Yep.
doubt. Last year I asked about moving.
Yep.
What was the discussion? Did you look at moving out of Jackson because of the cost?
Yep.
And the facilities are run down?
Yep.
Where'd that discussion go and is it dead?
It's not dead, but we didn't find any viable options in the facilities that would be available. And then in areas that it would be, staffing is a concern. And when we're sitting fully staffed right now and we're at our full capacity compared to other facilities that are struggling to even find staffing, it didn't seem to make sense because our interventions for our facility worked.
And if we go to a half a mil, next year we'll go back to 0.2 mils.
The plan, if I would go further in, you would see that over 6 years, if we did it for 6 years, we'd be able to pay for the complete project. And then we would go to no mills is what our goal would be, because we believe then we would be able to be self-sufficient in all the work we've done, and we would build our fees to maintain the property moving forward.
Okay, and then it just so happens tomorrow is property tax day. And I actually went and paid my property tax today. And my property taxes this year were $10 to Region 5 BOCES, the 0.2 mils.
Yep.
The only concern I have, I'm not a big fan of raising taxes.
Neither am I.
But the concern I have is with the trone industry. And I think it's imperative that this board have a discussion with the trone industry going from 0.2 mils to 0.5 mils and what that means to their bottom line.
Yes.
And I think if we present this information to them and they give us a thumbs up, I would support it. If they give us a thumbs down, I'm probably not going to support it because they pay 85% of the property taxes in Sweetwater County.
Yes.
Which is a lot of money.
Yes.
So I'm in favor of going to 0.5, but I would like to find out what the trone, and maybe David, you can facilitate that for us. Just get the information to them and what it means to their bottom line. I think that's fair. They are the major property.
Some of the boards that are considering are even talking about doing a public forum so the public would be notified of this and the plan moving forward to being super transparent.
And that might not be a bad idea.
And that's why I mentioned it, because I'm supportive of that. I will have you know that Dr. Demaray, who's not here tonight, and myself and a couple other directors are going to meet with a couple legislators and consider a couple other options before we make any final plans. I don't believe you vote on this until July. And if we don't have a lot of consensus from our other boards, I don't know if I would be inclined to encourage you to go to half a mil when others are not. And we would go to the drawing table. We will discuss this at our next board meeting, bring back some of the feedback and consider some of those options. One thing that was brought up, because we are a state facility, we serve the entire state. How do we make that equitable for those non-members who are frequent users of our services to make sure that they're paying for some of that as well? Because that's been the biggest discontent, I think, from our boards. I want you to know the information out there. And I agree with that. And so one thing we've been considering is how do we maybe leverage the fees for a while to use the reimbursable that is already generating that income from the taxpayers. And we maybe don't pursue that through mill funds in the future. So we are looking at some other options. I appreciate your consideration. And if you want to pursue those, Mr. Or Chairman Core, I would appreciate that, but know that we are looking at other options as well.
So of the 13 districts that are in Region 5 BOCES, how many outside of the 13 are using your facility?
Oh, a lot.
What's a lot?
I think
48 guesses here.
48 guesses. I would say I have the data up there.
I didn't see it.
Okay, maybe it's in a different slide I have.
That's all right. We'll find.
Yeah, it's, I'll email Superintendent. I will email that information to you. That's important to know.
And I think I agree with you. I think the Region 5 BOCES members who are already paying the mill levy should get at least a little bit of a better break than those that are not.
Yes, we are already
I don't
doing
want
that.
to take that away from those kids in those other
Yes.
districts because this is an extremely important
We-
thing we do in Wyoming.
We made those changes this year. The larger the mill, the bigger the discount. What we're realizing with the 401 reimbursable special ed costs is there a benefit for to pay the mill funds to get that discount when we have that possibly there as a mechanism to help pay this, and then the users would actually pay it. And it's a good idea, but I think the cost could be significant for a while to cover those costs, and that would be a unique challenge as well. I just want you to know as a board that we're looking at all options. We passed a bill. I appreciate your comments about at the legislative. We actually passed the bill, House Bill 31, that is now state statute, where we could be considered an LEA for different federal funds. So we still want to pursue some of those options.
Hey, Chairman Core, I'd like, ask a question. You're asking for the $500,000 for how long?
It would be 6 years in our plan. There's a graphic that has the slides of the share.
Okay. You know, the old saying, once taxed, it never gets back. So if we were to approve this, and it's going to be a hard thing because a lot of people don't have a lot of money right now.
Yep.
And I think we need to get it out to public. We need their input, but you know, I would definitely not support it without a trigger. And that made an automatic reversal of the mill.
Yep. And I think
that would have to be the board's decision, not your guys's really.
Yes, and it's always your decision. Each year I would come back and I would report our progress and show you how we're spending those funds, to be very transparent with that, because I know that's very important. If our members would, and each year you could decide to continue or pull those funds back, because this is your decision each July. So you have a stopgap every year to reconsider if this is the path we want to move.
Quite a few of us will probably be off the board at that point in 6 years. So I think a trigger needs to be discussed. And,
Yeah, I agree.
you know, those are not always, it's always going to go that way, but I don't like being taxed and said, oh, we only need it for 6 years. And oh, now we need it for 8. Now we need it for 10. Now we need it for 12. That's not something I want to tell the public, that, you know, to try to sell it if that's what we decide as a board to do.
Fair enough. Thank you.
And, you know, before you even got here, this has been a bone of contention with me, and I was concerned that I wasn't getting this.
Yep.
And the fact that since you came on board, you've brought this stuff to us, and I appreciate it. I really
Thank
do.
you.
I would recommend that you come up with maybe 6 of these packets, make them nice, get them to Craig. He'll get them out to the Trona mines. And I'd recommend this board maybe have a workshop at 6:30 prior to our board meeting in June to discuss, allow the public to come in and say yay or nay, raise our taxes or not, because that's what we're doing. So that would be my recommendation.
Yeah, and I think we need to make it, you know, layman's terms to the public. Like you said, you know, you're paying $20 to Region 5. I mean,
yeah, 10, 20. So mine will probably go to $25.
You know, so when people hear taxes go up, sometimes they imagine $1,500, you know, so, you know, we need to do a little educating on this. Or it needs to be here.
Yep.
So if you could jazz them up, make them look nice, you're going to be in front of multi-million-dollar CEOs. And I've always felt back on the industry that really supports our community, and it's the Trona industry. And I don't want to put an additional burden tax on them.
Nor do I.
And so I think it's only fair that we do that. That's my opinion. I don't know what everybody else thinks, but does that sound good? Like maybe a 6:15 June board meeting, we have send it out to the public that it's a public open meeting about potentially raising your taxes from 0.2 to 0.5. What do you guys think? Everybody go to that?
In agreement?
Okay, and then I'll have David get the stuff out to the Trona mines and we'll see what they think.
Chairman Core, would you like me at that June meeting to be able to
It might
respond?
be helpful if you can make it.
I would make every effort to do so.
It'd be June 13th. Yeah, if you could, because if there's questions, Brenda might be able to answer. 'em.
Actually, that'll work out well because I need to be out in the valley at 7 o'clock
Correct.
later that evening. So
And I
that would
think you
work
should
well.
incorporate a little bit about the Roosevelt School in Green River
Yep,
and how that facility is helping our local kids.
yep. None of these we're operating self-sufficiently.
Right.
And that's what our ultimate goal is not to come to you and ask for those money, but use the fees and the mechanisms that are there to become more entrepreneurial and say, we're going to pay for those services and not ultimately. It's the capital projects that have just gotten out of hand and need some major renovation to make sure that we can continue to get to our capacity and serve more kids because we get calls daily. So I appreciate the consideration. I will get that information to you, Superintendent.
And what I would recommend you do, Dan, is have a 5-minute presentation on Region 5 BOCES, have a 5-minute presentation on Roosevelt and how it affects school district number 2 in Green River, number of kids, those things, reimbursables. I don't know if we have reimbursables involved in these fees
Yes.
from the state. I don't know how all that works, but I think that would be very helpful to the public. And then we can open up the comments and see what they say.
I can do that.
Okay.
I would be remiss to mention that our program director from Roosevelt Learning Center, Katie Dotson, is in the stands, and I was going to mention that when I was closing, that if there were any questions about Roosevelt, because we were only talking about CBAR-V, but we have a lot of celebrations in what we're doing, and I don't want that. And that's the last 30 pages of that presentation. Please review that because we're doing a lot of really great work. We just need to figure out how we can, get CBAR-V back up and running and serving kids at full capacity.
And I'm glad you brought Katie, is that right? I'm glad you brought her here because I gotta be honest, I've not been in Jackson since you guys took it over, and I would like to go in there and see it. And I'd recommend the board, if you get a chance, go there. And Katie, is there a number we call, or do we just show up and knock on your door?
No, I'll take you over there, go over there once.
Okay, hook up with Craig and we can go.
I think
I think
Alan
it- I
comes
think
in
it-
monthly too.
Yeah, I've never been in there since it was not long Jackson School.
I think it's eye-opening and should be clear when you come in June, the clientele that you serve. So people are more aware of exactly what you do.
Will do.
Yeah.
I can definitely do that.
Okay. Dan, we didn't answer any of your questions, but I think this is a good path.
Yep, I'm great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate the information. Okay, next up is consider approval of the preliminary budget. I'm assuming the BOCES mill levy is 0.2 in the preliminary budget?
It is.
Okay.
It is. Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, and trustees, you have your preliminary budget in front of you. I just want to go over a couple of highlights. The budget total is 56,934,463. And just a couple of recaps that we talked about at the budget workshop in April. The ECA or the external cost adjustment that was approved by the legislature for 23-24. It provided an ECA for professional labor, 4.254%, support labor, 5.377%, educational materials, 13.519%, and energy, 30.061%. It also retained the ECA that was provided and carried forward for this year with materials at 5.958 and energy at 8.935. So that was good news coming out of the legislature for this year, and that helped us immensely. The other thing is we had a leveling out on our reduction in our ADM. So we actually will be able to use our actual ADM this year as it is higher than our rolling average. So it means only a loss of 10 ADM on our funding model. As far as the district success valuation, right now, the estimates are really early and like I said, working with the assessor, we're estimating a 15.6% increase in the district success valuation, but really it's the guarantee that drives our funding. And the guarantee with this ECA did increase and put our general fund revenues estimated at 41,833,088. And that is about a 5% increase in our revenue, or almost $2 million. We were able to complete the negotiations process. And so our expenditures are budgeted at 41,930,871. We're a little over expended on that, which has come out of the cash reserve. And relative to special revenue, we're down a little bit there, partly because we're decreasing our ESSER funds, and we still do have quite a few on hand, but decreased by quite a bit there. One thing to note on major maintenance, we will have availability of 4.678 million, and we will only spend 2.4 million next year because we have staggered the central kitchen project over 2 years. So we'll reserve some funds there for the 24-25 school year to complete the central kitchen project. We've got the estimate for Sweetwater BOCES, $500,000, 574,894. Region 5 BOCES for maintenance at 0.2 mil, 229,957. And the rec board up to 1 mil would be 1,149,787. Again, all three of those would experience a 15.6% increase over last year. Does anybody have any questions that I can answer?
Any questions? Again, outstanding, Chris.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I need a motion to approve the preliminary budget.
I'll motion to approve the preliminary budget.
Second.
Moved by Tom, second by David to approve this. Any just further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is consider approval of the Green River High School speech and debate monetary request for nationals. Is that,
This in here? Let me slide this in here. The premium, what's on your screen? Premium pay.
oh, yeah, go ahead. This is good news, Dan, and all you employees out there. So
Just a reminder that the 22-23 second payment on the premium pay that is funded by ESSER funds is scheduled to be paid to the employees on May 17th. We did it in 2 installments this year, and the amounts are listed there on the right, and those will be auto deposited on May 17th
okay,
for our employees.
any questions? Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thanks. There you go, Dan. Just got $1,000. Come on up.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, you're going to miss out in December because you're leaving us. No, I guess you'll still be a teacher. I will pay you again.
I
Welcome
hope I'm not
back.
Fired. I'm not quite ready for that
No,
part yet.
I think we renewed your contract. You're good.
Thank you. Oh, good. You do have it. Excellent. Okay. Well, I won't bore everybody by reading all that to you, but yeah, we've got 8 students headed to represent Green River High School at the national tournament. Very excited about that. And so we're requesting funds from the board. I didn't write an amount because quite frankly, I couldn't remember what you gave us in the past, and I didn't want to short ourselves, but I also didn't want to be greedy. So yeah, whatever formula you use or yeah.
Okay, I've got it all figured out here. So we typically give $175 per student. It used to be 125, but we increased that because of inflation to 175. And we typically pay the registration fee. So I would need a motion to not to exceed $2,360 for the speech and debate team to go to nationals.
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
You had 9 kids, right?
8.
Okay, I got 9 on my list.
Did I mess up? That's why Faith is here. She keeps me honest.
It's one of them twice.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
only 8.
Oh, Faith's on there twice.
Oh,
Okay, I got to redo some math real quick. Hang on.
you're expensive. I know.
And what I did, Dan, was I added the, I'm gonna have a not to exceed number because your registration's $100 here or there, so I'm not sure on that.
Okay.
So that's what I did. So I need a motion to approve 1,400 plus 785, not to exceed $2,185.
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded not to exceed the 2,185. This money's coming out of the board discretionary funds. Any further discussion? Except good luck, have a good time. Come back with some trophies and medals.
I hope so.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All those
Very
in
generous.
favor?
Appreciate it.
Aye.
Oh, I thank you
Opposed,
too, sir.
motion carries.
Awesome.
Good. You'll work with Chris on that, Dan. You'll work with Christine on all that. Thanks. Okay, next is consider approval of the school walk boundaries, bus stops and hazardous streets. Rachel, welcome back.
Hello again, Chairman Core, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Behringer. So annually, we present this. Generally, it's pretty much the same year to year. This year, though, we started looking at it a little bit more seriously. I have brought Tabitha Eichner up here as she is my assistant and coordinator when it comes to our routes and our field trips. And her and I were talking about looking at our guidance with our chapters from the state. And in doing so, let me back up. So our resources when it comes to our drivers are reducing. We're not getting a lot of applicants. So we are going to be ending this school year down 3 route drivers. So in doing so, we started looking at our guidance, starting looking at how we can make the resources we have work without hurting our transportation department. So in doing so, we are looking at the removal of 3 bus stops that can be determined in the walk boundary. And like I said, I have Tabitha up here. She has a very extensive amount of information to explain what that looks like if you would like any questions answered.
Have the residents of those 3 bus stops been informed of this potential decision?
No, not at this time. We felt like we needed to come to you guys first to see if this was something that you guys could support.
What's our cost to the district when we don't get reimbursed for this?
So the way we have worked it out in past is defining hazard streets and accessing safe walk paths to school. So we've been very lenient and not enforced the safe walk path because we were driving buses by it anyway. So now as far as reimbursability, I don't know that it affects that unless we were to get audited and somebody wanted to point out that maybe we were not following our walk guidance.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Do you know how many students this affects?
So the stops, okay, so we'll go back up to the previous pictures. So that's the current walk boundary. So we have stops on Hoback and Wind River. We have stops on Upland, or I'm sorry, excuse me. Yeah, Hitching Post, as well as on Pheasant. Each of those stops. Sorry, I had this all. I thought I was organized. So on West Virginia and Hitching Post, it affects 16 students. Hoback and Wind River is 4, and Pheasant, it's 3 who all live on Upland Way. Each of those stops respectively is a 0.5 mile walk. The statute does say 1 mile radius directly out the door in a circle. All of these stops are not reimbursable because there is a crossing guard at the green belt in between Iowa right there. So we have one on Alabama that's directly outside of the school, on West Teton in the Greenbelt and East Teton in the Greenbelt. On either side of the school, there is a permanently placed crossing guard. I did reach out to GRPD and confirm that these were permanently placed. If they were not there, there was a sub expected to be there. So on the other side of it, we have the East Teton. So this is the proposed walk boundary. The green belt closer to Bridger. The Wyoming and Montana bus stop, if removed, if approved, would affect 6 students. Wyoming and Oregon would affect 9 students. The one east of Wyoming and Oregon, it's Wyoming and Montana. There is a visually impaired student that is in Harrison Elementary. It's my understanding that within the next 3 years, they will be going into Lincoln Middle School. It's kind of the consensus that we keep that bus stop to, if we removed that, then it would have to go about getting an IEP for him to be qualified for transportation. We could go that route. We just recommend keeping it to accommodate him.
So if my math is right, there's 23 kids?
Yes, sir.
God, I hate to do this without them being informed. I think it would come back and bite us. I don't know what you guys think. You know, I get it. I mean, over the half a mile, I understand it's not that big of a deal, but it could be a big deal. I don't know what you guys think.
Is the purpose that we can't find drivers or is?
So yes, we're taking a look at bus routes for next year and we're running into a lot of logistical hurdles. We want to expand the walk boundaries because we're currently down 2 bus drivers. We see a need to 3, is it 3 now?
Yeah, it'll be 3 when the school this.
Okay, so the end of the school year, it will be down 3. So driver shortages are not only problematic locally, but nationally as well. We need to eliminate routes to be able to, everybody in the office all have CDLs and we're finding ourselves frequently having to go and drive those routes, and that's no problem, but we just see it from a logistical standpoint that we can utilize what we have available to us, crossing guards, to be able to condense it without cutting jobs and without having to rely on everybody always driving routes. It boils down to just we need to remove 3 routes by next year.
Yeah, I understand why. I get it. But you need to understand our side of the table. If we vote to do this tonight and then they're informed that they may not be happy about that. I just as soon get the brunt of it prior to making the decision.
Definitely.
So can we do this in June? Is that a possibility?
We absolutely can. I guess
I would send a letter.
just send a
The
letter.
Board of
and see what-
Trustees is being requested to cut 3 bus routes. These bus routes will affect your kid. They'll make the decision at the June, whatever day that is.
We're
board
actually
meeting.
only going to cut 1 bus route. We're just going, like I said,
But you're affecting 23 kids.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
With 1 bus route.
Okay. Well, you know how to word the letter.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure you understood as
Right.
well.
And you're more than welcome to put my name on the letter and I'd be glad to sign it.
Would you like me to send it to you for approval before we send it out?
That'd be good. That'd be good. You okay with this? I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm not trying to make this
No,
hard
no,
on
no,
you.
no, no. I absolutely understand the ramifications of what we're requesting. So that's
Right.
why I wanted it to be a very transparent conversation before we did anything.
Okay, great. That's what we'll do then. Does everybody agree with that?
We wanted to bring it here. We wanted to bring it here before we tried to involve parents.
I'm glad you gave us a heads up. Appreciate it. All right.
Thank
We'll
you
see
for your
next
time.
month. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, just give me that letter and I'll be glad to sign it. Okay, next up is consider approval of the amendment to policy ACA discrimination on the basis of sex. Title IX, Dr. Foos.
Thank you, Chairman Coor. Superintendent Behringer, trustees. I'm going to be respectfully asked that we not take any action on the title change to this policy tonight. Received a couple of emails today with questions and would like to have a chance to visit with those people before we do anything here tonight. I would like to explain just for a second. You know, the U.S. Department of Education, they released new regulations in 2020, and not to be here till midnight, but those new regulations set in certain policy and laws on certain ways to address certain aspects of Title IX. Okay, not all of Title IX, but certain aspects are now required by law to be addressed in a certain way. That's this policy that's up here. What we need to do within this policy is make sure that Title IX is stamped in the title of this policy, and that's our intent. But we need to meet with a few folks that have questions that ask those today before I request your approval to do that. I would like to make one more note. The most recent changes to Title IX policy occurred in 2020. We are fully expecting more changes to come down the pike in 2 waves. A recent set of changes that will address how we deal with sexual harassment. And then further down the road, approximately, I'm not going to put a time frame on it, but further down the road, Title IX is going to begin to address some of the gender things that we're hearing about as well. But right now, at our current time frame, there is no new in-law policy that we need to follow other than the 2020 updates. So I apologize, Chairman Kaur, for asking the board not to have action right now until we're able to meet with a couple of folks on questions that come in today.
Well, I actually have, you guys, did you see the email? Yep. I think it's worth taking a look at least discuss a little bit. So I think I'm okay with this, but let's make sure.
Yeah. And again, we're not changing the provisions of this policy, but we need to signal that this policy is the district's policy that extracted certain things out of our harassment policy that needs to be dealt with through Title IX. And we really need to get that Title IX title in this policy as someone were to look through and they could identify it quickly.
Okay, sounds good. You okay with that? Just move this to June meeting. All right, cool. All right, next, consider approval of the revision of policy AFDC, also GDN, evaluation of support staff, first reading.
Thank you, Chairman Cord, trustees, Superintendent Behringer. Straight off of Williams, Porter, and Day's desk sent to us their recommended change to this policy that will be a 3 reading. And thank you for your consideration on first reading tonight.
Okay, need a motion, please?
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Tom, second by Brenda. Any discussion, comments, first reading? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thanks, Jason. Next is Superintendent Board comments. Dave, we'll start with you.
Kind of late, so I'll be brief, but I just want to thank, I'm graduating my 4th kid through this school district next week, and it's emotional, but I'm very thankful for the teachers, the staff, administrators, everybody that's made that possible. And thank you for all you do, not only for my kids, but for all the kids in this community. Appreciate it.
Thomas.
I'll echo that. I had a chance to sit on, as did some of you, with Kayla Mohanovich's class, and go through 2 days of interview process. What an amazing opportunity for kids. And then 2 days later, I got to sit in on interviews for FFA. And if you take a look at the IA fair and all that we have going on, what an amazing group of leaders and teachers and coaches, and above all, the kids. The talent is amazing. If you had a chance to go to the IA fair oh my God, we have amazing stuff going on. So hats off.
All right, thanks, Tom. Ashley?
I would just echo that too. I got to go to the Industrial Arts Fair too, and amazing work there. It's really fun to see all the things that people do. Also, thank you to Brittany Montgomery and her class for inviting me in. It's kind of fun. They ask you for an autograph, but I got to ask each of them to, a little bit about themselves while I autographed their papers. And so it was fun to talk to them. And then I just want to say congratulations to our graduates next week, and a big thank you to everyone who's influenced their lives.
Okay, Brenda.
It'll echo everything that was said here, but also thanks for all the work on the budget and the negotiations team. That went very smooth this year. I was very pleased with that. We have great things going on in this district. One thing I need to ask the board about is next month, WSBA will meet again to discuss our fees for NSBA and COSBA. It was never our intent as a WSBA board to
belong to both, and we did that this past year, and so we will be evaluating that again in June. So if you have an opinion one way or the other, you could let me know before the 13th of June. I'd appreciate it.
Because we approved those fees in the
Right, but
consent.
it's really
COSBA.
WSBA is the member, not our district.
Okay.
But yeah,
All right. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Thanks. Mark.
Thanks for everybody's hard work. I think when you see so many kids in the arts and FFA and skills and speech and debate, it's an indicator of a very healthy district. Look forward to graduation. That's always a fun time for the board, I think. And Craig, I think you or your team need to talk and put together a response to Mrs. Moffat's concern that was brought up tonight. I don't think we should just drop that and not discuss it. I think we should see if that is legitimate and try to decide what response is best for that.
Yep, it is in our handbook that students, full-time students enrolled have first choice on that, but we can.
I think you revisit that.
Yep.
Just to make,
Absolutely.
and then respond to her just so she knows it wasn't dropped.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Dan.
I just want to echo like everybody else said with all the sports. Skills USA holds a dear part in my heart. I've won both at high school and in college on it, so holds a little dear heart in my part. Thanks, Brittany, for all your stuff, legislator. I've been in front of those panels. It's terrifying, but we're looking forward to graduation and just glad the school district does what it does.
Okay, great. Craig.
Okay, I'm going to read a letter that was sent to me from a teacher, sticking with the theme of the arts. She asked me if I shared this with you guys tonight. And I want to thank the school district and the school board for everything they do for our students so they have the best learning experience possible. I took 7th and 8th graders to the music festival in Salt Lake City and realized how blessed we are to have good equipment in our music classes. My students were so disappointed in the poor quality of the percussion equipment, plus the lack of so many things that they are used to practicing on every day in school. They made do with what we could find there, but the kids felt they could have played so much better had they not lacked so many instruments that they were used to at our schools. I think we often take for granted, so I wanted to show you my appreciation. We do have some instruments at Lincoln that need replaced because they're beyond repair, and hopefully those expensive items can be replaced soon. But I'm grateful for this district and the support they've given our programs and in all the ways that support is shown. Thank you, and thank you. Please share this with the school board. Sincerely, Kathy Rath.
Awesome. I want to thank Kathy for stepping in up to the plate. She did a great job. I had a chance to go see some of those concerts. It was good stuff. I got a couple of things here. Craig, hats off to you on meeting with 98% of the graduating seniors and that little report you gave us. I think that is awesome that you do that as our superintendent. I encourage you to continue to do that. That's good stuff. I visited Harrison as well. Brittany wasn't there. I'm trying to think, the teacher's name was Brittany, correct? So I'm sitting there talking to these kids about a lot of things. And I'm looking at the teacher going, I know this gal. Well, it's Ruth DeWick's daughter. And it hit me that I coached her in T-ball baseball back in the day. So kids thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, signing autographs was rather interesting. Is that how you sign your name? Yeah, that's bad. I know. Thanks, Brian and the IBN group. I think we came up with a great package. I think the package reflects the board's appreciation for the staff that we have in this district. Wish we could do more. But I think it's a good package. It's a healthy package. And I hope your staff members and all the staff members of the school district appreciate it. It's about a 4.87% raise, $2,800 increase on the base so we can remain competitive. There's no doubt. But I think it's a good package. The coalition hasn't joined with the WEA on the lawsuit. There is a hearing tomorrow. The judge has accepted us to be in the in that court case. So sad that it's gone to that way, but that's the way it goes. And I won't say any more. It might come back and bite me. But man, what a great night tonight, great meeting. I think the one thing that sticks out to me the most was we had a student say they're going to Yale. That is amazing. That is awesome. Good stuff. All right, that's all I have. Meeting's adjourned. Oh, principals, thanks for coming. You guys never end up being part of this except for Lake. And even when you're not here, you're part of this. Okay. Anyway, I appreciate you guys coming. I know probably won't see you. Are they here next month?
No.
We won't see you till probably August, but have a good summer and we appreciate everything you do. So our meeting's adjourned. Thanks.